royalty rate, and hopefully there's some kind of money up front. Got it.
Okay. But is it one of those things where
there's some kind of money up front, because a lot of times there's not a lot of back end.
What kinds of money is typically up front? How does that get calculated usually?
Usually if a third party, a record label, or a licensor, or a licensee, excuse me, like a TV show or a film, in those situations, certainly if it's like a sync license, there's usually always some kind of fee up front, even if it's $500, but hopefully it's more than that, maybe a few $1,000s for a good TV placement or a film placement for background music, or, usually if you have something like a theme song or something, it's going to be significantly more, but with sync licenses, you don't ever see any back end money. But things like record deals, or if somebody's going to offer you a publishing deal or some kind of administration deal where you have to go into an exclusive arrangement for a certain number of years, usually there is some kind of upfront money. But usually if somebody's going to give you money, they try to calculate it based on what they think you're going to make.
Yeah, froze again.
Maybe for the next 2 or 3 years or 5 years. That's sort of how it works. Sometimes it doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason. You hear about those $1 million deals, but those are pie in the sky, so I don't really talk about those. The only time you're ever going to get $1 million type of deals if you had like a hit record or something, and you had 5 or 6 companies that wanted to sign you all simultaneously, and then you have a lot of leverage, because that always helps. If you have leverage, you can always get a better deal. But for most of us, we're probably just, we're just more in the category where hopefully somebody really wants to work with you and help you promote your music. So and by the way, if there's not going to be an advance or a fee up front, then try to get a higher royalty. Sorry, I have to let somebody in. They're doing something in our office tonight. 1 second.
All right.
Oops. So if you're not getting an upfront fee or advance, try to get a higher royalty. I know that's all over the map too, but if you can get a 50-50 split on things, that's always about the best you can do. If you can get 50%, because I've noticed a lot of companies now, because when I first got in the business, there were all these weird royalty calculations, especially with record deals, like the goods and foreign 50-50 profit split. So once we recoup whatever we spent to sign you, record you, promote you, whatever it is, once that's recouped and we get to pay ourselves back, whatever's left over, we'll just split it 50-50. That's kind of what they call a net profit split.
Yeah.
There ever sometimes there is. I mean, if you're going to do a net profit split, I always try to put language in that whatever expenses are deducted, I wanted to audit them. You could at least find out if they're real expenses and not made up expenses. In a perfect world, you could get what's called a gross royalty, which means that you at the top when a dollar is earned. But that's pretty rare. So, but if you can, but Jim, I don't really, usually I just respond to people if they say they have an issue, but there isn't like a common thread of issues that I see come up over and over again. Because I look at, I might look at a record deal, a sync deal, a publishing deal, an agency deal, a management deal. It could be an influencer deal, a branding deal. It could be a book deal. So it's just like they're all different.
Can I pose a question, Jamie? About 4 years ago, I guess, I had in mind that I would start my own publishing company, so that, it just seemed like it was something that was an option. And so I did the fictitious name statement. I never followed through. Like I never did the publishing and opened a bank account. And I have new songs to register with BMI, and I'm rethinking, and I'm just thinking instead of doing, 100% for me, the songwriter, and then 100% for the publisher, just do the 200% for the songwriter. And then when I copy, and the copyright will be under just my personal name. Can you talk about the pros and cons of people who are like, I'm not going to be publishing anybody else's music. I thought maybe I would want to go that direction, but I'm not, I don't think I do want to spend that time. So why should I have one?
Are you with,
I'm with BMI. By the way, Ben, you might want to just turn your video off because with all the rain
BMI?
and everything, it takes up more bandwidth.
Okay. Are you with BMI?
BMI, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Sorry.
That's okay.
Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you.
If you're with BMI, really, if you're self-published, and to me, it doesn't make a whole, I mean, you can do a publishing deal, but at the end of the day, BMI is going to pay 50 cents, 50% of that dollar right side.
You're really cutting.
And the other
out.
50 is going to be the publisher side, but it's all going to end up going to you and to you. If you can hold, I'll try to go to an area. Maybe that helps.
Okay. What do you think, Jimmy? You're a publisher. Why should I have the extra burden of having an entity, a corporate entity of any kind? For what reason? Why don't I just do it under my own name? You're on mute.
Yeah, unless you really have the time to put into your publishing company, it's probably not a good idea to even bother having one. You need to have people that can help you out with that, especially because the whole thing about publishing is that you want to be able to exploit your material.
Yeah, if you find somebody who's going to work it, I would agree with that.
And in
I
order
haven't
to
found anybody who told me I have any commercial appeal, so why would anybody want to do that?
Well, there's a lot of different reasons for that. And oddly enough, sometimes it's not a great thing, but it's still a real thing. There are, reasons that people want to sign artists that they know they're never going to put out there, primarily just to bulk up their catalog. Almost like when, these award shows pay people to fill seats, that can be an issue.
Well, so that's a benefit to the publisher, but what's the benefit to me?
Zero.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm wondering if,
Well, but to finish can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah,
if you're with ASCAP, from what I understand, unless that's changed, they require you to form a publishing company or you don't get paid the publisher's share. Has anybody else encountered that with ASCAP where they require that? Otherwise, you're only going to get 50%.
And on BMI, all you do is on the artists, you put them 200% on that one.
Yeah.
field.
Yeah. BMI doesn't require it. And I don't even understand why ASCAP does, but that's why I asked if you're with ASCAP. If you're with ASCAP, I think you have to set one up, but still it's all going to go back to you.
Right.
And I don't think, and one of them, I know BMI charges you to set up a publishing company. I don't know I don't think ASCAP does, or vice versa.
Yeah, no, they don't. And so then if I have to contact BMI, I have to tell them I've transferred the null prana rights to the artist. And so then when I'd put my copyright in the year, it would be my name, Nalini Lazowitz, right? Because I don't have a publishing company. But when
but you could put your company down also if you wanted to. You don't have to, but if you actually have a publishing company, I mean, you could list it, but you don't have to because
Yeah, I haven't set up an actual corporate, an entity with a bank account. So I really can't say it's a real company. So I'm at this, but maybe we should move to the next question. I don't want to take all the time here. It's my particular, jam that I'm in. I've got to make some decisions. It's a pity you're not coming through, Ben. We had
Lucius, you had a
snow in
question?
Atwater this afternoon. I mean, the skies are crazy right now.
I think it's just like one, it's not only, it's the issue of getting paid, but it's also down the line of remaining in control of your content. Because you're in a situation that's like, everybody's cashing in but you, and you can't control it. And you don't have any say on who will and who won't use it and what how it's going to be performed. If you're doing that as a songwriter, like I said, as a performer, you probably have more leverage. But if you going primarily as a songwriter, you want it's one of the things you need to keep tabs on, control, and as well as getting paid.
So Angela says that you don't need a real company to set up a vanity publishing company, but you do need to get a fictitious, don't you need to go on record with the FTP, Franchise Tax Board, and get a corporate ID number of any kind?
I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to get an EIN or anything like that to do the fictitious, to do the vanity publishing company. All I had to do was pay BMI the $150, I think it was, because I was doing it as a sole proprietor. Now, if you're going to do it as your LLC, obviously you're going to want to have your EIN, and then you're going to be registering it with BMI as an LLC, and then you would pay the $250.
And do you have a bank account?
I don't currently have a bank account right now. I
See,
did
that's
when
the
I
thing. You
first,
can't open
yeah.
a bank account without proof of being a corporate entity of some kind.
Right, and see
That's
when they
my
pay you your
understanding.
and when they pay you your fees, you can actually have them send it to you and in your legal name. So even through
Oh,
your publishing company, you can have them send it to you through your legal
okay.
name.
All right,
Yeah,
cool. So it's
yeah,
just called Vanity Publishing. I'll have to look that up.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. But I am actually gonna go all the way legit with mine with and getting my LLC. I actually just got my paperwork today saying my LLC was good and good to go. So I'm trying to transfer my sole proprietorship over to that and get all that EIN stuff situated so I can get my bank account set back up in the new publishing company's name.
Very
But
good.
yeah.
Yeah, just one issue about an LLC in California. It's $800 a year. No matter if you have
That's right.
income or not.
The minimum,
It's $800 a year.
the minimum fee for
Yeah.
filing your taxes.
Not cheap.
Can they do
Yeah.
that in Nevada? Like I said, people were setting up Nevada and Delaware corporations a while ago.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Where are
other
you from,
states
Angela?
it's not
Oh,
as much.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Because during the 90s, a lot of people considered doing like something like a Nevada corporation, or I think a Delaware corporation as well, because it costs less to set up there.
Hmm.
I don't know about a Delaware LLC, but I know in California it's you have to pay it like in April 15th for that year. So anyway, a side note.
Looks like Ben lost his connection.
Yeah.
Oh well. Anyway, but yeah, we do have quite a few people here that have some experience, so that's a good thing. We can keep talking about that till Ben gets back in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe he may even be listening on YouTube. We'll see. But yeah, publishing is a whole different thing. Yeah. Angela's putting in a lot of good stuff here. Checking the DBAs in your area if you need to get a bank account. That's true because when you have a DBA, you can do a lot of different things because you're doing business as something else. That's an important thing for bands, especially. A lot of bands, if they are generating revenue, then you want to be able to do that. Primarily because you don't necessarily want the taxes to hit everybody personally if you are getting paid. And that's another reason why a lot of bands wind up asking to get paid in cash, which is pretty crazy. I'm just curious, Jason, how are things over on your side of the world where things are on the East Coast?
Well, I was telling Stephen about this earlier. There's a real lack of open mics here in the city right now. I'm in New York City, everyone. I actually was recently out in LA and had a wonderful time. I'm sorry I didn't let everyone know, but I was acting in a play, an Oscar Wilde adaptation, and it was like a 5-day thing, so pretty quick, pretty in and out. And I really enjoyed the vibe in LA. I didn't get street hassled once, and whereas in New York, I get messed with all the time. But as far as the music scene goes, and obviously this is my problem, not anyone else's, but it's getting very young, and all the great influences. Well, that's a weasel term, whatever. But all the influences that I think are important to me have been forgotten, and these kids are just like 2000 and future. And though that's being very general, there's still some art of songwriting, but I think what it is, it's about the open mics, because without those, a lot of musicians can't get shows. And I sometimes think the open mics are more productive than shows, without the pressure of having to sell tickets or sell poisonous alcohol or anything along those lines, which are really detrimental to creativity. So I think I was talking, Steve, we just need more open mics here. So, that's kind of where New York's at right now.
Well, we'd love to see you more often at Hambones.
Yeah, thank you.
Come back every Tuesday, dude. Every fucking Tuesday.
I've been trying to stay offline, except for
Are you on our mailing list, by the way? If anyone wants to get on the mailing list for Hambones open mic on Tuesdays, just put it in the chat and I'll add you.
I'm very much on your list.
Good.
I try and stay off I was doing the Zoom mics for a while, but I just feel like my stuff wasn't coming. Broadcast of it. I was like, oh my God, I just don't sound right. I just want to sound my best. And it's just don't feel like I was being sounded right. Although I love the community and being able to talk to everyone, of course, meeting lots of great people like most of you here, who I met, just from, Hambones and obviously the SongNet and all that. And that was really helpful throughout the all the downtime there. But the nuances of my performance were just getting lost. And so that's why I stopped going to the Zoom mics. So it's not personal, but yeah, I just want to be at my best.
So I just had somebody sign in who was just says iPhone. Maybe that was Ben, but it seemed to have dropped off. So.
Yeah, Ben's been trying to get back in. He just texted me. So
okay.
And then Pierre, who was at our our showcase the other day, he seems to be logged in, but I don't see him. I'm not sure where he's at.
Wait, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Right in the middle there. Okay. Yeah. You're not wearing your glasses. That's why I was like, oh yeah, that's right. There you go. Now I see him. Yeah, right. Yeah, the open mics, one of the things, even if you don't sound the way that you're expecting to, the main thing, as you're mentioning, is the community. Because quite often, in fact, that's back in the days of MySpace. One of the artists that I was working with, I explained to him that it's important to, meet as many people as you can wherever they are. And then you'll start finding that people will start following you and listening to what you're doing in different regions. And that's where you can start building up a fan base and actually support yourself by going out to those places. He was a blues player, and he said, really? And I said, yeah. So he discovered that there's a lot of people that love the blues in Europe, obviously. So he said, yeah, American blues player in Europe can do very well. So he started making friends on MySpace in Europe. And then he really found a blues group of people in the UK, and he started doing that. And then he wound up booking a festival in the UK. And then he's the kind of guy that started, basically pitting one guy against the other. So he booked a festival in the UK, and then he found another festival in Ireland. And he said, hey, the guys in the UK are paying me this much. How much would you pay me? And so, well, we'll pay you this much. So you go back to the guys in the UK, say, hey, the guys in Ireland are paying this much. How much you pay me? And kept going back and forth. And eventually he made a whole lot of money, just doing festivals and stuff in Ireland and the UK. And then he came back and he said, Jimmy, I got a problem. I said, what? He says, I made so much money, I can't be on welfare anymore.
Ben is back, Jimmy.
And I thought that was pretty hilarious, but it was true, So being able to, parlay the open mic scene and everything else into something that, can generate revenue and build your fan base, even if you're not sounding your best, it is important to be able to join these communities. And as Nalini has said, the one, the Hambones thing has been really good. And
Yeah, every like music conference I go to, they always say one of the most important things is to meet other artists, to be in a, because you all kind of grow together. And eventually someone breaks out and all of a sudden you're opening for them, I mean, that's so, okay, that's it.
okay, well, I see Ben's back in. Hey, Ben, thank
Yeah.
you for getting
Yeah,
back
sorry,
in here.
I don't know what's going on with my system here, but can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, and I don't think it has to do with you or anything like that, but this weather has just been so nuts,
Well, I'm in a space I don't normally use, and I don't know. It just wasn't letting me log back in. But as long as I'm here now, I guess I didn't want to waste. If you have any other questions, sorry, Nancy, I didn't get to finish what I was saying there, but I think you're okay just being self-published and just putting your name down. If you never finalize that publishing company, it's no, because at the end of the day, it all comes to you anyway. So the important thing is having at least your name as the writer.
Right.
In the copyright form.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, that's one thing that people keep talking about, the poor man's copyright, mailing it to yourself, which really doesn't work that well. There's a lot of better ways to do things. Kind of a loaded, weird question, but Ben, I was going to ask you about rappers in the hip hop community, because for some reason I see that hip hop guys seem to be getting deals all the time and making a whole lot of money, whereas singer-songwriters never quite get there. Is there any insight that you can provide on why that happens?
I can only guess, but for whatever reason, hip hop and rap is just, that's like the most popular form of music. So, and the youth really eat it up, and stream it and buy it, and they seem connected to that world, or wannabe. So, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons it's a popular genre. And I got to say, because I work with a lot of rappers and hip hop artists, I'm not saying singer-songwriters don't work hard, but those guys and girls, they really hustle, they're always hustling. And I guess they have no fallback, because a lot of them don't really have, the education a lot of other people would. They come from poor environments, and, it's like you're either a basketball player or a rapper or whatever, so they really try hard. And they seem to know how to connect themselves with a lot of other collaborators. They do all these features. That's one thing that's really smart. They do these features where they'll bring in like Snoop Dogg, for instance. He'll feature on your record, so all of a sudden you're being seen by all the Snoop Dogg fans. That's just an example. And obviously you got to pay somebody like that, but not always. Sometimes they do it on friendship basis or whatever. But I mean, those are the things that I see that are working for them. And if they've got a big social media presence, which a lot of them do for whatever reason, but a lot of it's just because they wear the right clothes, they hang out with the right people, they're in the right age group, and they're in the right genre, and all of a sudden they've got 1 million followers, and that's what labels want to sign, because they know there's a built-in audience already. So, I mean, those are some factors that I see. And I, for me personally, I probably connect more to the singer-songwriter genre. It just doesn't seem like, people get as big in that market. Doesn't mean you can't have a great career. Everybody would love to be like a Sheryl Crow or somebody like that. But if you compare her numbers to Travis Scott or Jay-Z or somebody like that, she's way down the totem pole.
But that's interesting.
Do you have any insight on that? It's just guessing on my part. But.
No, but well, I mean, you're working with.
I mean,
like
Taylor Swift is a singer-songwriter, and she's number one. She's way up there, but she's 1 in 1 million. I don't know, but I work probably with more singer-songwriters than I do with rappers. So I've asked myself that question before too. But that's just some of the factors that I see.
No, but that's a big thing that I think you hit the nail on the head with, because Taylor Swift, for example, I've heard from other people who are listed as co-writers on some of her songs that in fact they aren't co-writers. Their name is just on that. And the reason why is because they're famous people. So, if Taylor Swift can say, yeah, I wrote the song with Robert Plant, and Robert Plant had nothing to do with it, but his name is on there, it doesn't matter, because now Robert Plant's name is on there. So people are going to seek that out and say, wow, I want to hear the song that Taylor Swift did with Robert Plant.
Wow, I didn't even, I've never really studied her. I thought Taylor Swift was more on the other end. I thought she used a lot of ghostwriters and things like that, because I've seen other people's names on her songs early on in her career. You know, she worked with a lot of the country people, and then later was Max Martin and his
Yep.
people. But lately, I thought she was more of like her name only, and I thought maybe she was, you know, who knows what kind of deals she was doing, but it didn't seem like she was collaborating as much or crediting people as much. I could be totally wrong on that because I didn't check her credits out.
Yeah, the writers that I've met that have, you know, supposedly worked with her, that they've all had the same story. You know, they go into a writing room with Taylor, and she says, "Okay, what do you think of the song?" And they say, "Well, that's really good. I really have nothing to contribute." And she says, "Okay, fine, but your name's going to be on here anyway."
Oh, and that's if it's a big name, right? A big
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
And
but I've certainly seen it the other way too. And I don't want to name any names, but some famous artists really don't write or didn't write, and their name's there just because they are famous. And
Yep.
they have leverage to insist upon that. And it's like, hey, if I'm Elvis, you want me to cut your song, you have to put me down as a writer.
Yep.
You know, that kind of stuff. And most people would say, okay, I'd rather have a song with Elvis for 50% than, you know, not with Elvis for, you know, for 100%.
Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. And
He's co-writing your check.
Yeah. By the way, I just read today that strangely, after all these years, they're making an Elvis animated TV series where he plays a secret agent. Did anybody else see that? Yeah, Matthew McConaughey is going to voice him.
I wanted to point out, I put in the chat a link, a brand new report has come out from the Production Music Association, and talking about rap and the place in society. I think Ben is so on the money when he talks about that's the sound of the young people. You know, we had our sound in the 60s, we had our sound in the 80s, you know, and so much music that we hear is commercial music. And rappers are custom made to be able to fill in the voracious need for music, background music, you know, and like they work so hard, like you said, Ben, they'll hang out in the studio, you know, 16 hours a day, all week long, and churn out the 15 seconds and the 30 seconds. And
They
so
do.
I
They do
think
churn.
that's,
They churn a lot. You're right. They churn a lot of content out.
yeah. So I think that's why
yeah.
rap is, you know, I guess it's economic, it's working out economically for all in, well, for those
Well,
involved.
it's also dance
but
music.
I'm sure if you know, there's probably tons of rappers that we've never heard of that don't make a dime, just like with singer-songwriters. So I can't, you know, but there's
They're all
certainly
on
some rappers
SoundCloud.
that are, yeah, right at the, like, if you look at the top 10, you know, gross earnings for artists, yeah, rappers are probably going to be 6 out of 10.
you know, even some of the ones that you haven't heard of, like the latest issue of Music Connection magazine, the cover guy is a guy I've never heard of, Victor or something or other.
I saw that too. I didn't know him either.
Yeah, I had no idea. And then he's obviously making a whole lot of money, and he's doing very well. And it just happens that Chance the Rapper is his best friend. So,
But
yeah.
but even Chance the Rapper, again, I don't know for sure, but from what I heard through the grapevine, you know, there was that big story where he was completely independent, but he really wasn't. I mean, he had like $10 million in backers, and he did have like a distribution deal through Sony or something, Warner's behind the scenes. So it was just like almost like a facade or something where everybody was saying, look what you can do if you're completely independent. But you know, I don't know. But I'm not saying, that's just what I heard. I don't know if anybody else heard that because I don't work with the guy. But I don't know if you were getting the full story on that, because I used to go to especially I speak at a lot of rap conventions and things, and I remember when Chance the Rapper was so big 6 or 7 years ago, that's what everybody was saying is, look what he's doing. We can do it too. And I'm not trying to burst anybody's bubble, but I think he had some help behind the scenes.
I totally agree with that.
Hey, Ben.
Yes.
Larambe here. How you doing, man?
Hey, good to see you.
I want to ask you about a reversion clause.
Okay.
At the end of the period, or the end of the contract, what have you, does the artist have to do anything, or is it automatically the publishing reverts back to them, or is there something the artist needs to do?
Well, does the contract say, usually when I draft a contract, I try to say the reversion is automatic. So supposedly the artist doesn't have to do anything and it just happens automatically. And say it's a publisher, they're going to transfer the copyright back and go to BMI or ASCAP and tell them that, going forward, we don't publish this artist anymore. But I've found more times than not, a lot of times they forget to do it. So it might be smart to follow up and just make sure that the switchovers occurred. And sometimes, by the way, I usually try to put in my contracts, if possible, that if for whatever reason the publisher, the label, whoever was supposed to process the reversion doesn't take care of business in a timely manner, that you as the artist or the songwriter has a power of attorney to do it for them. So you could step into their shoes and do it for them. So you could even go to BMI and say, well, I have a contract that says I can sign for XYZ Publishing Company, because otherwise they'd say, well, only XYZ Publishing Company can do the switch. But if they gave you a power of attorney, you can do it for them. So, but in this contract that you're talking about, does it say anything about the artist having to do anything? I just, even if it doesn't, it might be wise.
No, Ben, as a matter of fact, you
So when I did, okay, I don't remember, but did we put any language in there about about
initially
when they had to
they
do
did
it,
not
or what
have
happens if they didn't?
Initially, they did not have a reversion clause, and I asked you about that. I definitely wanted that to be included.
And it's in there, but does it just say at the end of X years that the rights automatically revert, or what does it say?
I got to be honest with you, I don't remember exactly what it says. I probably should have had that.
Okay. Well, as long as it's there, that's the important thing. But just to make sure, because I don't know if you can rely on people, because even with best intentions, even these big companies like Sony, they forget sometimes, and the smaller ones, sometimes they're just a little scattered. They're not as professional. So
the easiest way for me to secure that is to go to BMI and inform them?
Well, yeah, I mean, because I'm assuming if somebody became your publisher or your administrator, they would normally go to BMI and say, hey, we're handling the publishing for this project, this song. They may or may not say it. They'll probably just say, we're the publisher now. And then they'd go to the copyright office too and say, we control this now. Or we're the publisher now, we're the owner, the claimant. But they don't always do that. Sometimes they never even did that. But usually they would at least go to BMI or ASCAP, because that's probably where most of the money flow would be. But yes, and to make sure everything's transferred over, you'd want to certainly go to BMI and make sure the reversion went back, so everything's payable to your name only going forward.
So when I go to BMI, I'm going where? I'm asking for.
Well, just go. I don't know if they have a department per se that handles that, but anybody that you talk, BMI, everybody there, as I've found in my experience, they're pretty. There's always somebody there that will respond, and if it's not their department, they'll just tell them what you want. It's a reversion. Who do you talk to about switching? Making sure the switchover occurs properly, because it may have occurred properly, but you're just trying to double check.
No, not with these people. I don't trust them.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Further than I could throw.
Yeah. Well, and it's your rights, and and I've just found people forget, because even if they put it in their schedule to do it, a lot of times they just don't.
Well, Ben, they haven't. Remember, you put in there also we're supposed to get 2 reports a year, and that has not happened.
Okay. Well, if it's if that's the way it is, then you should probably just maybe go to BMI and say, hey, did these people? If the reversion's already kicked in, you should go to BMI, any contact you can find over there, and just say, hey, I'm just checking, the status of this song. My rights are supposed to have reverted. Did they? Because if not, we need to take care of that. But I just saying in your contract, I just see if we put something in there, or they agreed to it, that if they don't do it, you can do it for them. Because if they don't, otherwise you got to go remind them to do it.
Okay. I think I got it. Appreciate it, Ben.
Okay.
Can I ask a question, Ben?
Yeah.
So I think after hearing all of this and just all my experiences in the business, which is very similar to everyone else's, and this, I kind of want to just turn the whole thing in its inverse and just put all my songs in the public domain and just skip all of this. How can I go about doing that? This is a serious question.
Well, I mean, under the copyright law in the United States, when you create something, you automatically have copyright for the life of your life plus 70 years. It's automatic. But if you don't want to enforce those rights, you could, they have that, what they call Creative Commons, which is, you could put that symbol. I'm not saying I'm an expert on Creative Commons, but it's that symbol that says basically, hey, my music's up. Anybody can do whatever they want with it. They can, download it. They can remix it. They can put it on a record. But you need to credit me. You need to credit me.
No, I don't. I want them just to take them and play them. Why? Because it's like, well, all the others. What's the point of everything else?
No. Well, why wouldn't you? If you're not getting credited, you'll never see a dime. Why wouldn't you?
I'm not seeing a dime anyway.
Well, but you could. You could have one usage that gets in a sync or goes viral, and all of a sudden you would have money.
I've been saying the one usage things for the last 35 years. At this point, I just want to get the stuff out there, and I don't even care.
Well, then put it out. I don't.
Done.
Yeah. Well, with Creative Commons, you don't have to request that they credit you.
But you could.
You can. That's an option, though.
Yeah.
It would be such an honor if someone stole my songs and just did them. That'd be the biggest thrill to me ever.
Yeah, but how would you even know, though, if they
You
stole
gotta set up a URL, free production music.
Take them.
.com.
Just take them. Seriously, I write them and I give them away, and someone else can write them, and that's what it's come to.
Yeah, but why couldn't you just say, fine, do whatever you want, but just put my name down, because then you can feel good about it. If something ever does happen, you can take credit for it.
I don't want credit for it. I just want the world to hear these songs and like what I was saying about 10 minutes ago, they're putting fake writers on songs anyway.
Well, come on. I mean, you can't be so doom and gloom about it. Otherwise, none of us would do this for a living. So I don't know. Listen, it's your music. You can do whatever you want. I think that's crazy. I think it's
I appreciate it.
If it were me, and I'm not a creator, I wish I was, I would at least want to have my name there if somebody's using it and making why would you want somebody else to make millions? I know you're saying you won't, but it could happen. Why would you want somebody else to make millions of dollars off your music and you don't get a dime?
If you give it away free, he might not find that 2000th person who would be the one to do it. So
that's what it's come to.
He wants his music. He wants an audience for his music. But Ben must know something about what it means to take credit for things.
Well, I just know that credits lead to money and lead to more work and fame, fortune, and at least recognition.
Is there a benefit beyond money, though?
Yeah, well, just that people can say, wow, we love your music. Thank you for creating it.
Oh, yeah, they could thank you. If they don't know who, if they don't know who wrote it.
Well, of course they're not. If there's no credit, they wouldn't know.
Public domain. Yeah, public domain is just like Jingle Bells or the Hallelujah Chorus. I mean, people can spin those around any way because, like I said, they've been public domain for centuries now. Okay?
They're old.
Something like that they can do for centuries. You're talking about right here and now. In this particular century, in this decade. So like I said, if you can get it out, well, I mean, it's just like you're entitled. I mean, certain things, just like back at that particular time, a lot of times, just like the music wasn't even heard for decades after the artist passed away, because there was periods like Beethoven that wasn't played until after 50 years. He was dead. So it's just like he had to mishonor being one of those famous dead composers that he had a reasonably, healthy career, but like I said, it didn't really, that was then, because this is now. Okay.
And my birthday is the same day as Beethoven's. So it really makes December 16th. So this is the only way out of this mess. I just want to do something so different. And it seemed to make sense. And if not, what difference does it make?
It's an honor to Beethoven, isn't it?
Yeah,
is he public domain?
But even
it's way old.
Yeah, but you still know who the writer is, even though it's public domain. I mean, look at Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead. You still know it's Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead. They may say, "Oh, do with my music what you want," but you still know it's them.
Okay, it seems like to me everybody's talking about from their point of view. He's talking about his point of view.
No, I understand.
So he doesn't care what you guys care about. So just let him be.
Well, yeah, you
Why
can
we spending
That's
accept.
so
sort of
much
like when you
time?
get this
You can
The man just
accept.
wants to release
That's sort of
his
like when you get the
music,
gospel music thing. It's
and he
just like
wants
they
it to
spread
be
all over,
heard.
they
That's
don't
all he
care.
wants. So,
But it's still a
Yeah,
big
but
business all the
you can
same.
accept
so why are we
somebody.
trying to convince him to do something that he does not want to do?
You're right.
Let's
You don't
move
want to
on.
convince them, but even though you can accept him as he is, but you can also offer a different point of view.
I think we've been
And
doing that,
Ben,
and I think it's a mute point. The man, you're not going to change his mind. Doesn't
well,
seem
he
like
might
to
have
me.
gotten a little insight. Come on.
Okay, you want to keep spinning? You want to keep spinning your wheels on this? Let's go. Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
I'm kind of serious.
actually,
At some point, just let it go.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
and I'm only giving. I mean, I just want everybody to feel like they're getting something out of the content they create. Otherwise, why
Sure.
why do? Just like if I'm, you know, if I'm going to
Maybe
build, if I'm going to dig, if I'm going to dig a
satisfaction-
hole, if I'm going to
maybe
dig a
his
hole in my yard, I want there to
satisfaction
be a
came from
reason why I
creating
did it. You know.
His satisfaction maybe comes from creating it. Period. Maybe that's fulfillment.
Yeah, well,
enough for him.
and that's fine too. I don't. I
know,
just
so-
wanted you to consider. Hey, if you're going to do it that way, why don't you at least ask for credit?
Yeah,
And then,
and
you
I
know,
think it's
but
good that we
if you don't
presented
want to
that.
do it, then don't.
I'll make you a deal, Ben. I'll make you a deal.
What's
I'll
that?
write the songs, and you can say you wrote them.
I don't want. I would never take credit for something I didn't do.
I'm
I'm
it's
not
on the
like
table.
that.
It's on the table if you want it.
Yeah, it's not me. Not for me.
Okay.
Ben, I have a follow-up question, the corollary, which is, what is the definition of public domain?
It's old. You know, you can look it up, but I believe on average, if something's 100 years old, basically it's hit the public domain. Basically,
Right.
it's hit the public domain.
I just wasn't sure where the line is. Where do you cut the line?
But yeah, if you look up public domain on Google, I think it gives the exact right. But what's confusing to me sometimes, because I'm not an expert on this stuff, but they always say copyright is life of the author plus 70 years, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think anything could go now. So if somebody lives to be 100, and then that's 170 years, you should have rights before something goes into public domain. But also, if you look up public domain, it says something like it's 94 years after creation or something. So, but I'm just saying around anything, because even like something just hit the public domain. Well, it was Winnie the Pooh. You know, did you hear about that? That new Winnie the Pooh movie, with the slasher movie? It just went in because they were able to make that because the public it went into public domain. The Winnie the Pooh character in the name, because it was like about 100 years old. Did anybody else hear about that? No, there's a Winnie the Pooh movie out, right, where the Winnie the Pooh's murdering people, and everybody's all upset about it. But they could do it because nobody owns Winnie the Pooh anymore.
Wow.
I thought it had something to do with estates and stuff too, because that whole happy birthday thing that went on for years and years.
Right, it did, but a happy birthday to you was written like in what, the 20s, something like that?
Well, over 100 years ago now.
100 years ago, yeah. But it was like right on the borderline of that.
But then somebody owned the publishing or something of that, so that, you know, and then also like some songs that are in public domain, you can still copyright the way that it was recorded, the arrangement. That's the performance copyright, if I remember right.
You can I have clients that do that. They'll re-record a public domain song with a unique arrangement. You can do this. People are making money, and then ASCAP and BMI will actually say, you know what, that's unique enough. You added some new stuff to it. We'll say that you're a 25% writer, 50% writer of a newly arranged version. So any airplay on that, we'll pay you. So that's something, because I have some clients that are taking classical music and doing new versions of it, and they're getting paid, even though those songs are in public domain, but only the new version that they did. And they don't get full credit, they just get partial credit. Does anybody else tried that? Do you know what I'm talking about? Jimmy, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like when Cat Stevens put different lyrics on Morning. Well, actually, he just recorded Morning Has Broken right out of the hymnal, and you know that wound up being a big hit for him. So.
Oh yeah, don't forget A Fifth of Beethoven by Walter Murphy and the Big Apple Band. Remember that?
I do,
That's when
but
it said-
they may, but I don't, Walter Murphy may not have asked for any credit, but in those days, people were buying records, right? I don't remember if he tried to get his name down on as a, like for the airplay on that. He may not have gotten any airplay money, but he might have, I don't know. But you're right, that was a big hit. But back then people were buying the records like crazy. Now you don't make any money off records. There's streaming doesn't really translate into money, not big money, unless you have like hundreds of, I don't know. I don't even want to get into that. That's the depressing part to me, is you have to have so many streams to really see any significant income.
Who devised that? That's what I'd like to know.
Well,
And-
you know, well, there are these songwriters.
The paying system is what I'm talking about. Who actually sat down and devised something that it's just,
For the, you mean what they're paying on streaming?
what they're paying? Yeah, I'm just wondering. Yeah, I mean,
Well, there's definitely lobbying organizations that are always trying to get it increased for the writer side and the artist side. It has gone up a bit, but I don't know. It's just a weird, it's just a weird format that nobody really expected to come along. Just like this stuff you were talking about before with the AI. Nobody really knew that was coming. So how do you monetize it? Because these the copyright laws weren't really created they were created before. So everybody's trying to catch up on that stuff. Any other legal questions?
Yeah, Pierre had a question, looks like. You should be able to
Yeah.
mute,
Yeah, thank you. I didn't know about Winnie the Pooh murdering people, but when my children were younger, I could have been the one murdering Winnie the Pooh. I was so sick and tired of reading those books.
Same with Barney, yeah.
Yes. So here's my question. If you wanted to do a cover of somebody's song on an album that you would release through, streaming or make a CD, do you have to get their permission? And if you want to do that, if you want to make a cover that's really first just a cover, and then a cover that really kind of becomes quite different from the original, is that different?
Well, if you're going to do a cover, it has to be an authentic cover where you're not supposed to deviate very much from the words and the music. Obviously, you have to rearrange things to a certain extent, but if you make a significant change to it, you actually have to go directly to the publisher and get permission to do that. But if it's just a straight cover, you can, there's two ways to go about it. Most of the time, you would still go to the harryfox.com, because online, there's just a way you push a button and they'll issue you, because 90% of songs that are well-known are represented by the Harry Fox agency, and they have an online mechanical license, they call it, where you can just click a button and pay a very minimal fee, and then you can put out your record for streaming, or physical if you want to. You have to click a box or two, but and then they can't refuse it. But because under the copyright law, there's a controlled they have to, if a song has come out before, they have to allow people to do covers if they want to. So you can actually go to the Copyright Office site, and I'm sorry, I'm spacing on the actual name of it, but it's a mechanical license. Like if you can't get it through Harry Fox, you can get it through the Copyright Office, but there's a few more hoops you have to jump through. So my recommendation is just go to harryfox.com, type in the title of the song and that you want to cover, and it'll tell you exactly what to do. It's real easy, because and by the way, these days for streaming mechanical royalties, you as the artist or the record label doesn't even pay that anymore. That's why they have the MLC, the new thing that was set up by oh gosh, I don't know why I'm not thinking the new law that was passed a few years ago. Jimmy, can you help me on this? What was that law that was passed a few years ago that set up the MLC, the Music Licensing Collective, where you can join that and get paid your digital mechanical royalties? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The MLC?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of it.
Well, there was a law that was
Right,
passed,
right.
and that was the
The name
result
of
of it. Yeah.
Was it an act?
Yeah, but I'm forgetting. It was very,
music modernization.
Yeah, music modernization.
Yeah,
Yeah. So because of that, the MLC, or the Music Licensing Collective, which is a governmental body, was formed now, and they collect. If you join it for free, they collect your digital streaming mechanical royalties, and they'll pay that to you, just like BMI or ASCAP will collect airplay money, and they don't take a percentage. So, I certainly recommend you join that if you haven't already. If you're already with a publisher like Sony Music or something, they would do that for you. But if you're self-published, yeah, but that's I guess the bottom line is, in the physical days when you made a CD or had digital downloads, you as the recording artist were required to pay that 9.1 cents, which is the mechanical royalty rate still, to the songwriter that you covered. Now you don't have to do that for streaming. It's up to the songwriters to make sure they collect that themselves through something like the MLC. So if you're covering somebody and you're just doing streaming, you really don't even have to do the accounting, but you do have to still get the mechanical license through Harry Fox or something like that. If that makes
very
any
helpful.
sense.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ben, if somebody does a parody song, is that considered something they have to pay royalties on?
Fair use.
Well, I don't. That's the thing about, Weird Al apparently always gets permission because he does. It's it could be a parody, but you're still. You see, the problem with parodies is if you're still, the court will look to see what was the purpose of the parody. Was it for commercial purpose? Well, then you got to get permission. It's not fair to make millions of dollars off somebody's music, not pay him. So he always got permissions and got licenses, and he probably shared the profits. So I don't. Parody is just a weird area. I would never rely on that as a defense to try to get around paying somebody.
Because truthfully speaking, some people didn't like it because Weird Al also approached Prince. And Prince, he said, hey, I want to do something, Mary Parody. And Prince said no. Because some people don't like people mannequinning a song because one person does it. Then it's just like a whole bunch of other people. Then it's just like, okay, then it's just like you get a weird old court battle.
Well, and I think, he was, also because somebody could come after you, like Prince, for instance, if he didn't like what you did, or he could argue, hey, this is demeaning to me. It makes me look stupid, silly. And there's probably some kind of valid legal claim. If you're Prince and you can afford it, you could probably sue Weird Al. And Weird Al, from what I understand, he just was trying to avoid problems. So he just made sure he got permissions. So I would suggest if you're going to do a parody, you should go to the artist and or their publisher and get permission. Most of the time they'd say fine, just because, they wouldn't want you to put your name down, but even if you wanted to put your name down, you'd have to come up with some kind of split because you're still using their music with new lyrics. So
because I did arrangement of a few songs and I added, my own lyrics to them. But as like I said, it stayed around the original form. But all the same, if I, make the song, it's just I want to do like, national, worldwide. I got to get permission from the artist.
But from what I understand, Weird Al didn't, and I don't have any Weird Al records, but at least early in his career, he didn't put his name down. He just got permission, and whoever was the original writer got listed as the writer. And Weird Al was making money on the master because he sold the records. So he'd get the artist royalty, but he wouldn't get the songwriter royalty. Maybe later he would get a joint, like say Prince agreed. At that point, it might have been written by Prince and Weird Al, and then they'd split the writer royalty. But that's something you'd have to work out directly with the writer or the publisher. You just can't stick your name like on a Beatles song without permission. You need permission. I mean, if you're changing things up, you need permission. If you're doing a straight cover, you're not putting your name down there anyway, but you still have to have the ability to. Why they call it a mechanical license is because, used to be reproducing the song in a mechanical way, like on a record or a CD. Now it's digital. They still call it a mechanical license, but it just means you're getting the right to reproduce the song on your record because you didn't write it.
Doesn't Michael Jackson own all the Beatles stuff?
Not all of it, but most of it. And he sold it to Sony.
Hey Ben, Bob Lasowitz, how are you doing?
Bob. Hey Bob. Yeah, Sony owns. I think Sony just bought out the final. I think Michael Jackson estate still had a partial ownership, like 25%, but I think they just sold it all. So Sony owns everything except for there's a few straggler Beatles songs that somebody else owns, but the lion's share is owned by Sony. Oh, Bob, you had a question.
Yeah, I had two things. One is a legal question. The other is to let you know about something that's happening with the Darlene Love project.
Oh, good.
First thing on the legal, if you as an artist sign a contract and it says it's not assignable, and then you die, does the obligations in that contract, like compensation, accrue to your estate?
Yes. Yeah, that's different. Signing is when you like assigned it to a stranger like me versus just going into your heirs. That's just like it's you still getting paid. It's just going to your heirs.
That's what I figured. I'm making it very explicit I'm doing amendments to all these agreements, the original agreement from 1982, but I'm being explicit that it does accrue to their estate if they died, because we had 3 people who were already dead from the project. The project has moved along really well. I wanted to tell everybody, Ben helped me with some original agreements with a primary artist for a video concert that I recorded 40 years ago, and with Darlene Love, and it's coming out on DVD and CD on April 7th. And so Ben was very helpful in terms of helping me put together a contract that protected my rights, but wasn't overly, how can I put it? I guess you'll say litigious or legal, so that a good deal could be done. So I want to thank Ben for that.
Thank you. Well, and Bob also, he worked really hard on that too, and reached out to Darlene Love and reconnected with her, and that helped a lot too, I think. She's been really helpful, and I mean, there were periods where she wasn't easy to get a hold of, but now she's got the cover from the DVD as the banner on her website. She's promoting it. We've gotten some PR. The folks at Liberation Hall, who are the distributor, have gotten some PR, and we'll see what happens if people grab onto it. Well, this is exciting to see it come out.
It really is. We might have a DVD release reunion event on April 7th, and so I'll let you know more specifically about it. You mean on Zoom?
Zoom, not at the club where you did it originally, right?
No, that's long gone. Okay. But yeah, we'll do it on Zoom because there's people spread out all over the country, and it's we're not going to call it a release party or anything. We're just going to keep it a little more simple than that. For just a lot of the band hasn't stayed in touch particularly, so be a chance for them to reconnect.
You never know what's in your garage.
Meaning the original video is what she's talking about.
Moved from
many years ago, I was helping this lawyer out. And he did estates, and he said, "Oh, go out to this storage unit in Compton, or something like that, way deep down in South Central LA." And I went in there. It was this dusty old place, and the person that had passed away had a bunch of stuff in storage, and his name was Dootsy Williams, if anybody knows who that is. And he had a R&B soul label or doo-wop label in the 50s and the 60s. And he's the guy that originally put out the song Earth Angel. If anybody remembers that, like one of the first doo-wop songs. So I'm looking through, and I'm looking through all these old tapes he had there, but he had the original Earth Angel tapes, which are worth millions. And then he had 50 Red Fox comedy albums. And apparently Red Fox put 50 albums out on Dootsy Williams' label in the 50s and the 60s before he was on Sanford & Son. And I didn't know any of that stuff existed, but these were all just like master tapes sitting there that had never really been exploited or anything. So yeah, you just never know what, and I was just like inventorying it and giving it away to whoever dealt with it. But yes, I mean, you never know what you're going to find in a garage or a storage unit. That was exciting for me anyway.
Okay, well, I know you mentioned that you had to go. So
yeah, I know. I lost 15 or so minutes. So, I mean, I can stay till like 8:15 if anybody else has, because I know I I dropped off a few times there. Anybody else have legal questions?
Okay. If not, then yeah, we had mentioned to the people that sent stuff in to listen to that.
Well, Jimmy, if I could just share something that people on a legal note,
Sure.
I just started using a freemium version of a digital e-signing contract e-signing tool that's been very easy to use. It's called PandaDoc, PandaDoc, and they have a free version that allows you to just take a Word document, put it in, drag some fields in for electronic signing, send it off. After people put in their signatures, you can download it. It has a document identifier on each page, and then a third an extra page that shows the IP address where it was signed from, and it's very handy. Just started using it. I don't know if Ben has any caveats against using something like that.
I mean, that sounds like a good one. I mean, I know there's several kinds of things like that, but and I think I've even seen that one pop up in some things I've done. So I think people are using that.
Yeah, I think it's reputable. They want to sell a bigger package where you can have templates, and you can, if you're regularly doing more contracts, you would want to pay for the service. But if you're only doing one once in a while, it's a lot easier than scanning it to a PDF, sending it to them. Somebody else has to print it out, manually sign it, scan it, and send it back to you. That's a lot of hassle for a lot of people. So this.
But it's set up. If you send it to somebody else that doesn't have the PandaDoc app, they can still sign it.
Yes, exactly. It's a web. They just click on the link. It opens up a page in their browser. They don't, it puts in a script like text. It's not their actual signature, but because it records the IP address and the email address that it was sent to, I believe it's legal, right?
Yeah, no, it would be. I mean, that is true now. It's like, they're like rubber stamps. They're like simulations, but they're accepted in the court system as valid signatures, because I guess there's this way to verify it digitally.
And what's the difference between that and DocuSign?
It's the same thing, but this is free. DocuSign is not free.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So again, it's called PandaDoc, and been very easy to use, and no one's had a problem or a concern. I warn them that after they sign, they're going to get a page where they can download it, but the PandaDoc people are also going to pitch them on, would you like to be able to create and send out documents? So I let people know they don't have to use that.
Yeah, that's good advice. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, if anybody else ever has questions, I put my website in the chat there somewhere. So it's benmclane.com. If anybody ever needs to reach me, all my contact info is there.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, and sorry I couldn't listen to any music tonight, but I'll come back another time, and I can do that if you want.
Yeah, or the archive will be on our YouTube channel, so if you want to stop by there and real quick listen to anything, you can do that. So that'll work out as well. And it's interesting that there are people that do listen to our YouTube channel from the industry. I do lunch with a lot of industry people every Wednesday, and it's been interesting because some of them say, "Hey, I'm really interested." And one of the guys is Yuri Gelman, who was our guest a few months ago, and he actually has gone back and checked it a couple times. So it's kind of cool.
What does he do? What does he do?
He's a producer, and he's done a lot of stuff, mostly in the rock side. But he took over Aspen's place when Aspen passed away. So now he's got Aspen Pittman's studio, and it's just amazing. And he's helping to run, the Aspen Pittman designs and stuff too. So he's got a lot of connections there, and he's really into what's going on in the community. So he tries to keep in touch with everybody, and it's really good. So Ben, I'll definitely get you for lunch sometime soon, huh? On a Wednesday.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Sorry, time goes by so fast.
I know the feeling, man.
All right. Well, thanks everybody, and have a good.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Part of the
Thank you,
year. Bye.
Ben. Really appreciate that. Okay. So, Steve, how many songs do we have to listen to?
Something like 13.
Oh, that's a lot. Well, it's okay. We'll listen to them anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So, how do you want to do this? You want to just do a,
Well, we've got Jason on the New York side, so we should get him first, and then
wanted to
Angela.
go actually second or third or something, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, then we can start with Angela because she's in Georgia, she said.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
let me, I have to get the volume right. So Jimmy, you're gonna have to tell me if we didn't do this when we were in the preliminary.
Okay.
So,
Oh, Angela said she doesn't want hers played. Okay.
oh, you mean first?
It's unreleased, so that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She wanted it mostly to, submit to Ben to see what's up with that, but that's okay.
Okay. How about Catherine Beck?
Well, yeah, unless Jason wants to go first anyway. It's up to you,
Yeah,
Jason.
I'll go first. It's fine.
All right.
I'll take my chances.
All
Anyways,
right,
as noted, you guys all wrote this song anyways. That's fine.
yeah. Let me,
Because Ben didn't want it, obviously. So
okay.
I offered it to him. I said, Ben, you can have this song. You can have it. Like, who would turn that down? I guess we'll have to see.
So Jimmy, you're the one, that's going to give me the high sign as to, okay, I think we've probably heard enough.
All right.
Because there's a lot of songs we can't play the whole song, obviously.
Yeah, that's fine.
For each one. So
Let's do the first verse.
yeah. But so what I do here is to share the screen, and then I'll have to get let's see, share sound, and then I'm going to have to make sure the volume of this so you can actually hear it. And Jimmy, tell me kind of where we're at on this. All right, so you can see the lyrics there, and
Yeah, he's actually submitted this one before.
let's see.
From the beginning. Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, try to minimize the audio player though.
Why do you sit there and cry? You shed a tear, televised fear, asking what you're gonna do and why do you stand still and sigh? You shed a tear, melody comes from what you hold that's dear and why when someone asks me why underneath the moonlit sky to celebrate the world's desire higher than high, why would you tell me goodbye? I shed a tear, comedy love songs never seem sincere and why
Thank you. Yeah, I remember I've heard this one before, and it's great. Jason, have you ever thought about doing a animated video with this thing?
Thank you. We did a video for it with me and two guys who aren't in my band. I make videos with like fake bands, just whoever's available, and can do it for $40. Like actors, stage actors. Animated video is a great idea, Jimmy. I'd never thought of that for any song, but this would be a good one. And that's just in general. I think people really are drawn to animated stuff, especially younger folks, right?
Exactly.
Such a good idea.
And that could always lead into like a movie short or something else as well.
Brilliant. So, I'll tell you what, I'll take away that from this meeting and work on that for my next upbeat poppy song. That's such a good idea.
Yeah, because there's a lot of art students out there, and there's a lot of animation programs that are free and easy, and it's something that people are into. So definitely.
And a lot of my friends do the animation as well. So I like collaborating. I don't like just doing things on my own. And I love bringing other friends into it as well. So that's wonderful. Thank you for that tip.
Sure. Great. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull Catherine up next.
All right, give me a second here. And,
Anybody else have any comments on Jason's song?
I really like it.
All right.
Really like it. It wants to have a lot of harmonies.
Yep.
That's true. Okay, so here's Catherine Beck,
Rodeo.
Rodeo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just an ordinary dusty day. You were rodeoing and I was with the kids, and your brother called and said you'd been hurt real bad, hurt real bad. My heart was in my throat the whole day. Seemed like a century to get to you. And the doctor said, I'm sorry, but his riding days are over, over. I love the rodeo and you, I always will. You don't have to prove anything, you're all I need. You're all I need. 'Cause you can be my cowboy, and I'll be your rodeo. Be my cowboy.
All right. That's good. So, Catherine, is this what Nikki has sent you as a final? Where'd you go?
Well, it's not quite a final, just almost a final.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a lot of weird sounds in there. We got to do this one ourselves, really. It's not bad though. It is better. And the song itself is great, and I really like the way that it works. One of the things that's good is that we've been, when we play it out live and stuff, we get some really good response on that. So that says something right away. The song itself is strong enough to stand on its own, and I think it's very good. I think it definitely needs a whole different production on that. That's just me, maybe, but I don't know, what do you guys think?
Well, again, hard to, listening through earphones mine aren't even on because it's so loud, but it's hard to tell. Yeah. But it's a beautiful song. I mean, I love your voice. It's just anything you sing just sounds good.
It sounds like a very good demo. You're demoing the song. I think your voice sounded good, and it's bare bones instrumentation, so that's what it is.
Yeah,
it isn't a fully produced track.
I wish my wife took away from it.
Hmm?
The instrumentation sort of detracted a little from it.
Oh, which part of it? I mean,
Drums.
How so?
The high chime, the high notes and stuff, sort of didn't agree with it.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. But I wish my wife would tell me I'll be your rodeo.
Yeah, the guitar parts that I threw in there, I didn't expect them to be quite as present. And then it sounded like she's using a djembe or something for like the percussion, and djembe just doesn't sound right to me in there. It sounds really thuddy, and a real drum kit would actually sound a little better. And then of course the real drummer wouldn't just keep going, boom cha cha cha, boom cha cha cha. I think he's using a shaker and a djembe, and really, a drummer would do like a round but da 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 to go into the chorus and stuff, change it up a little bit, and it's almost mechanical the way that she's got that going on. So I think if she either works on that, puts in real drums or something, that would help. But the whole thing overall is EQ'd really, really harsh, I thought. So we'll talk about that later though. But generally the song itself is great. And what you've got right now is something that's pitchable to like another artist or something to do if you wanted to do that. Or again, you know, for the live shows and stuff that I know you like doing and we want to do. So good job. All right. Okay. Who else? Anybody else have any comments on that, or everybody likes it? All right. Good.
Next up, we've got Ed Lackey.
All right.
This is called Anymore.
When you see me driving my truck, it don't mean I'm down on my luck anymore, anymore, anymore. Just because it's not a Mercedes-Benz, no, it don't mean I ain't got no friends anymore, anymore, anymore. Only thing that it shows is what everybody knows. You can't judge a book by its cover anymore. Still waters still run deep, and I don't get much sleep anymore, anymore, anymore. Nighttime, I'm paying my dues, oh yeah, playing bars, ain't got nothing to lose anymore, anymore, and that's for sure. Only thing that it shows is what everybody knows. You can't judge a book by its cover anymore. It's only a matter of time, just a matter of time. Maybe a lot of luck and a lot of luck till I'm back on top, till I'm back on top, and you won't see me driving this truck anymore.
All right. Good job, Ed. I like that. Only thing for me that I would change would be not coming in right away with the background vocals, because when that happens, the part of the lyric gets lost the very head of it. So if you put start the background vocals at least 5 or 6 lyrics in, that helps a lot. So like you've got that whole section where it's da 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 da. Instead of starting it with that background vocal, just start that clear, da 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 da. Then maybe bring in the background vocal, or even wait till after that phrase is done. So it's da 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 da, and then anymore is when the background vocals come in. Otherwise, it kind of can. Well, like I say, you sort of lose the beginning of the lyric, but also it's a little bit confusing because the listener is going, they're bopping along, and then all of a sudden there's that background vocal that comes in there, and it's like, whoa, sort of throws the whole energy out a little bit. So that's just something I would do.
Yeah, I would suggest eliminating a lot of words. In other words, it sounds like there's some word stuffing there, and you could probably just smooth out a lot of that and rephrase some of it so that it flows more naturally. Let me give you an example. Just because it's not a Mercedes-Benz, don't mean I ain't got no friends. You could just say, it's not a Mercedes-Benz, don't mean I ain't got no friends. In other words, there's a lot of words you can just eliminate and get the same point across without sort of stuffing the words. I would suggest, going back and really challenging each line that you write on that particular point.
I would, I would, instead of having the acoustic guitar from the production standpoint, I'd have an electric guitar or a 12-string electric and doing that lead that goes underneath. It sounds like you're just using a regular acoustic guitar. And I would never tell anyone how to write a song or what to do. But I would, if you want the lyric, everybody knows, you could change it. Then the next line would rhyme. You could say, you can't judge a book when it's closed, right? Which is a little more surreal. I suppose the more of a well-known phrase, we can't judge a book by its cover, but then it would rhyme with nose when the book's closed. But yeah, otherwise it rocked. It was a rocking song. It was one of the more rocking songs I've heard in a while.
Yeah, good song, Ed.
Okay, next we have John Bernard. This is called Picnic. Let's see here. Lyrics up and
picnic on the Riviera, quiet Paris night. The finer things in life aren't free, so treat this lady right. So pick me up at 9:15 and take me out to dine, to a place with a perfect view and my favorite wine. When I'm lonely, I get phony, but I don't care, 'cause the only thing that will cheer me up is a smiling billionaire. So don't be late, I hate to wait, I'm not that hard to find. And don't forget my favorite things, diamonds that sparkle and shine.
Okay, that's good. Thanks. Wow, that is a great arrangement and an excellent recording. How did you do? Is that all real stuff there on that one?
Yeah, we did it in up at Norm Sancho's garage. It's a studio we built up there.
That's a real drummer, right?
Yes, yeah. I kind of forgot his name. He was good though. He plays a lot of shows in town and stuff. Pit drummer,
Were the horns live at the same time?
Well, no, they were tracked later, but those were really good horn players. One of them was the late saxophone player that passed away recently. Anyway,
Well,
yeah, they were all good
that
guys.
was my only comment, is I could have used more volume on the horns, and especially during any parts where Marilee was singing with more volume.
Okay.
Like to have that energy come out.
Yeah.
They were great lines.
Well, one of the things, Nalini, is that when you're listening on this kind of a system, you're not going to hear the whole thing. If you're listening on a big system, you'll really feel a lot more. So
Even with the earphones?
especially with earphones.
Oh.
Because earphones, one of the things that I've had a lot of discussions with is that headphones are a big issue because basically they couple to your head and you have skull resonance. Your skull is actually bones, and bones being hard have resonance. Therefore, when you have a sonic thing that's coupled to a resonant chamber, which is your skull, then everybody's going to hear something different, regardless of how perfect the headphones may be and how accurate and flat they are. And I found that to be true through all the studies that I've done. Sometimes $16,000 set of headphones sounds terrible to somebody, whereas a $3 set of 99-cent store headphones sounds fine. And it's all because of how it gets coupled to their head and the way that their ears work. So that's why even guys that say that they can mix on headphones, bullshit. There's no way, because everybody's going to hear it differently.
That's interesting. I've always noticed when you're in the studio, at least when I'm in the studio, but a lot of people, they take one headphone off when you're singing, because they want to hear themselves really.
Yep.
Where do you guys live?
Right now we're in Sausalito.
Okay, I was going to say, if you're in a place that does a lot of theater productions, your tunes are. I mean, have you ever worked with a theater company to actually write a play or something? And
when I was living in LA, I was always tempted to go over to the film school at UC at Southern Cal.
Yeah,
just to hang out and put up stuff on the bulletin board. I still may do that. I mean, I'm down to LA a lot.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I don't know if you heard, but Kathy Siegel Garcia is booking Kulaks now. And she's doing a jazz night every Thursday. And I would highly suggest you guys do that so that you have some serious video of what's going on, because you guys are great writers, great performers. And I remember when you used to do the stuff at the Coffee Gallery when you were in LA, people dug what you were doing. But having that in video would be really good. So something to consider.
We're going to be down in LA. I don't know when, but soon. I should coordinate it with you to see when your next Song Night Live is.
Yeah, well, I'm there the first Tuesday of every month with the Twofer Night. And actually, I do have a couple spots open for the, March 14th? So yeah, 2 weeks from now, March 14th.
All right.
So if you're around, let me know if you're going to be around. We charge $30 for 2 songs. And you can just try it out that way if you want. There's a couple people that actually book a double slot, so they pay $60 for 4 songs, and that works out really good. So something to think about.
Wow. All right. But thanks. Yes. And once I get the schedule, I'll email you and let you know, the dates and stuff. We're down there.
But overall, your song's really good, and I love the production, and you can really hear the difference, between how that thing is recorded and what we heard just previously with Catherine's stuff, where it's, it's okay, but
I'm finding the value of producers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But thank you.
All right.
So next we have Larambe called These Loving Arms.
Been a while since I seen that smile. It's more than worth walking 10 million miles. Just want to wrap these loving arms around you. Though we're grateful for our phones, they can't take the place of being home alone with you. It's true. Wrap these loving arms around you. These arms were tailor-made to tenderly embrace you. They're strong enough to pull you up or pull you lonely nights for the both of us. Never knew that I would miss you so much. Just want to wrap these loving arms around you. I can't wait till I arrive, so I can gaze into your dreamy eyes. Just want to wrap these loving arms around you. All I want to do is wrap these loving arms around you. Yeah. These arms
Thanks. Looks like Larambe left, but still, I love his stuff. And what's interesting here is you can hear, even though it's a country flavored song and he's aiming for the country thing, he's still got the R&B flowing through it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it sounds really good. I love that.
Beautiful.
Vocals are just beautiful.
His vocals are always good. And the other thing too is, the way that things were tracked. Now, one of the things that I noticed right away was that the guitar sounds like it's a sample, which is more hip hop, but that's okay. What you can tell because it's the same line played over and over again, and it's flawless and it's perfect, and it's flawless and perfect in the same place at the same time every time. So, a real guitar player, I don't think I've known any guitar player, no matter how good they are, that could do that. And then the drums are good, but again, you can tell that they're not quite real because the way that things fall off and fade aren't quite what they would be. But he's playing them more like a real drummer would, so that the accents are in the right places and stuff, so you can really hear that. Larambe's a great producer, and he's always got some good stuff going on for that, especially for that kind of stuff. He's one of the best R&B guys I know. So thanks, Larambe. I know you probably listen to this afterwards.
Oh, that.
Yeah, good
What's
job.
What's his name?
Larambe.
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 Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's always at our things, and he's every now and then he'll play our showcase as well. So check that out.
Okay, next up we have Marilee, and this is called "Someone Like You."
Desert nights, caress and moon, stars that fill the sky, a secret kept behind a veil, hidden in her eyes, a gentle breeze, swaying palms, sweet scents that fill the air. She longs to be alone with him, whisper in his ear. Someone like you makes it so easy to kiss, and when I'm with you, you are so hard to resist. A tale told in 100 nights, lovers who wait to meet. He rides to her, drinking the wind, flying on a cloud. Sapphires and stones, treasures and gold cannot break the hold. She's found the key to his heart. She wants him to know. Someone like you makes it so easy to kiss, and when I'm with you, you are so hard to resist. Trouble will come with the morning sun. He's
Oops.
Usual song.
There we go.
Love your stuff, Marilee. One of the things that I'd noticed about this particular one, though, is that you weren't quite following a rhyme scheme completely.
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, when you listen to it, you can kind of tell you're expecting the rhyme to hit a certain place, and it's not. Which is interesting, and again, for jazz, it doesn't really matter as much, but that is something. If you wanted to aim it closer to pop, you might want to think about that a little bit. But
super.
Yeah.
What I had in my mind was a nightclub singer in Dubai, singing something like that, because it obviously has that Middle Eastern context to it, or at least verbally, lyrically, I should say. But I don't know if they have nightclubs in Dubai with, what do they call them? Mocktails? Yeah, right. But yeah.
Well, I'm sure in Dubai you can find anything.
Was that you singing, Marilee?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Sounded good. And the music really set the tone from the beginning.
Yeah.
I just to throw it into the hat here, I did start losing, like on the second verse, there were so many different images going on. I think it's very wordy, the verses, and it could use some paring down.
Okay.
And maybe not trying to accomplish too many different images in one.
Right.
Because the chorus is so simple and well defined and memorable. I think the wordiness of the verses, it's a little unbalanced.
Yeah, it struck me similarly that the verse was a little too long, actually.
Okay.
In other words, if you could almost cut it in half and, have the same effect, I guess.
Well, it kind of depends on what you want each verse to say.
True.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's an old song, so it's interesting to think about maybe, just slightly redoing it or something.
Updating it. A lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, one thing I didn't quite get when I was trying to follow the storyline was "Trouble Will Come." I didn't see where that kind of came in from left field for me.
Kind of like Arabian Nights. The trouble that women have in the Middle East. Possible. Maybe that's it.
Oh, okay. Like you said, you wrote it a while ago, so you're not even really sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's still great stuff.
Thank you.
Okay, what else we got?
Okay, next is Nalini, and it's called Was It Real? And let's see here. Screen share. Yeah.
I don't feel like crying anymore.
Very good. It sounds very different from when you've played it at open mics there, Nalini.
Well, let's see. We got guitar.
Well, who produced that?
Let's see. I can't remember if that one was from Steve Lefring or Nick Kyrgo. I went in. I had two different engineers, and I did 4 songs with each of them in their home studios, and they played instrumentation, and we called them demo sessions. You know, it really is a demo of a song.
Okay, so the cadence and everything else was kind of their decision, or
well, I was there and you know, told them what I wanted to do, and then in the a lot of times they'd go do some of the guitar parts after I lay down my guitar and a scratch vocal, and then I'd come back and we'd do the vocals in the background. I didn't hear the background on that one. I guess it was just the third verse, but I like singing to my own. I like the sound of 2 or 3 Nalini's, and I haven't been able to be in a studio and get exactly that. You know what I would like to hear, but I just wanted to have the song in a form that people could hear the song. It's a sad song, so I don't know if anybody would like to listen to it.
well, lyrically, yeah, it is there, but then there's a lot of sad songs that have more upbeat, you know, grooves. That's okay, but I was just wondering about that marching drum cadence. Yeah, was that you or was that them?
You love me anymore. That's how I do it.
Well, that's how you do it, but the drums sound like a marching band.
Before, oh, I'm not that aware of that. I'll have to listen for that.
Yeah, because the drums have a very militaristic sort of, you know.
Oh, that's funny, like a Civil War.
Exactly. You know.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Did anybody else hear that? I heard that and I thought it was kind of
like a march. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
You know what? It gave it kind of a Neil Young feel, which was kind of cool, I thought. I mean, it
maybe it should be more stripped down then. Maybe the drums are distracting the way.
Well, they could be, but I mean, I could almost hear Neil Young singing that in a way. It's a Neil Young song.
I could hear a whiny voice singing that. Yeah. A whiny male voice or something. Yeah. One of the things I noticed was in your last line of each verse, like in the first verse, was it real? Can it grow past this pain? It almost sounds like that's the chorus in a way when you first hear it, and then or the first verse. I'm sorry. Yeah, or was it real or just a show? Because it takes a long time to get to the chorus. As you know, and I was just thinking, it almost sounds like that last line of the first 2 verses is a chorus in its own right almost. But I don't know what you do with that exactly, how you rearrange that.
But it could be a pre-chorus, so maybe that'll cut down the verses and just do one pre-chorus and go into it. Maybe.
Yeah,
I could look at that.
Yeah.
I'll see if Neil Young's available.
Yeah, there you go.
Great sounding song, though. I mean, I liked it for that. I mean, it was. I just thought, wow, this is really good.
What was?
Yeah, the song is good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that for me is the arrangement. I think could reflect it just a little bit better. You know, not quite as heavy and not quite as drummy. Yeah, I think a little more cymbal thing would be, you know, a little bit better, like a ride cymbal or even just closed hat tapping instead of hitting that.
Well,
drum.
It wasn't a live kit, so just somebody who knows how to play the drums would be better, probably.
No, well, even if it's not a live kit, you know, you can program those things in. You know, it almost sounded like he just kind of selected a generic drum groove, you know, like
probably.
on those, and then threw it in there. But yeah, all right. Well, so otherwise, great, good job.
Thank you.
Next up, we have let's see, Pierre Engelbert, and this is called "Well, Your Daddy Was Wrong." There we go. Okay, so let me to queued up here. Oops.
Your daddy said I was trash, that we'd be over in a flash. Well, your daddy was wrong. Your mama said I'm a boozer, you'd waste your life with such a loser. Well, your daddy was wrong. And as we contemplate the mess we made of our lives together, you thought that you knew better than your mother and your father. You got hit with Mr. Loser, and then we had to elope, cause your dad was such a dope. You'd never give me your hand, and my F-150 we drove, filled with liquor and some hope that we'd be fine in the end. Too late to expiate the mess we made of our lives together. You thought that Mr. Trouble wouldn't leave a trail of rubble in your heart and in your life, and all your dreams were gone. You thought that you knew better and could never do no wrong, and in your rubber the bone could neither call nor down a shot, and you were stuck with Mr. Hart. When we were down on our luck, I'd made a home inside my truck. I thought of reaching for my Glock.
Love yourself, Pierre. That's great, man. What's interesting is that you're going with this whole alternative sort of a thing where you've got two different cadences and rhythms playing against each other. And I remember hearing that with like some early Talking Heads and things like that. I'm guessing your influences are sort of along those lines.
It's my generation, so
No, that's exactly fine. And I hear that in a lot of commercials, actually, because commercials are getting to be so boring that people bring in music that catches your attention in that way. Oh, Nancy wanted to see the end of the lyrics. Sorry about that, Nancy.
it ends nicely.
Yes, I can see that. Yeah, but just the way that you're doing the arrangements and stuff, it definitely has that kind of a sound. Like what's another one? There's a Man from Down Under that.
Oh yeah.
It has that,
Men at
that
Work.
kind of a
Men at Work.
Men at Work. Yeah, it has that thing where you've got one cadence and one rhythm, for the vocal and the lyric, but then the underlying music is going in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
But they come around together just enough at just the right time so that it works, and that's exactly what you've got going on. So even though it's alternative, it's very sophisticated, and I like that.
Thank you.
I could sort of hear it's sped up in a young punk band playing it, with a screamy sort of voice, or you're a loser, I'm a loser kind of voice, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what I heard. I mean, lyrically.
Yeah, it can go that way too. You've got the punk sounding guitars in there, definitely.
Were you talking about the Vegemite sandwich?
No. So I'm hoping to use this as the opening song for my next CD. So I hope it opens nicely.
Okay.
That'll be good. What are you planning to do as far as like a visual for that?
I don't know. I'm a 60-year-old man, so I don't really, the visual doesn't work too well for me. I don't know.
No, it works really good. You know, I can see that. And then one of the things that you bring up, like a potentially unwanted pregnancy right in the middle of the whole thing, which is something that would really flip everything around in a video, you know, because you have the thing about, you know, the classic Romeo and Juliet, you know, you don't want this guy, you know, your parents are all against it and everything else. All of a sudden, well, there's a reason why they're still together, you know, there's a butt in the oven. So it's like, okay, well, now it brings a whole different kind of tension to it. So
thank you. I'll take any suggestion on the visual. I don't really think about that. So thank you.
Yeah, that's something you might want to take to somebody that does like movie shorts and stuff, and do a music video of that, because that would be a very powerful music video. And that's part of, you know, the change in the whole music industry that we've been talking about, is that you know, it's no longer just about the music. It's about the whole multimedia experience, and that the music itself is no longer a product. It becomes a vehicle for the product. So by having something that moves you both visually and aurally, and you're going, wow, yeah, this is really interesting. How can you relate that or work that into something that can generate revenue? You know, if that's what you want to do, you know, outside of the music, and that gets really interesting. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Nancy's got a thing in there, interesting story, and had to know what happened after the word Glock. Yeah, no, we're not talking Glockenspiel either. Okay, next.
Okay, next we have I Kissed You in London by Roland Vega.
All right, roll.
So, let's see here.
I never thought I could ever feel this way. My hand touched yours and yours touched mine, then our lips did the same. Then for the next few months, heaven came to me. You released your magic potion, you fulfilled my every need. Wake up, I must have been having a dream. Wake up, things are not as they seem. I kissed you in London, I kissed you in Spain, I kissed you in Amsterdam. But things never stay the same. The kiss of an angel was put on my face, so full of emotion from heaven's embrace. I kissed you that day.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
I kissed you that day.
She's something to look at. Cut me a little crazy.
Last night I thought of you for the first time in a while. All I know, one day you were gone, but on my face you left a smile. And every now and then I look back on those days. God, I wish they were back, but the times that we had could last me all my life. All my life.
You think that this is just a dream, but it's not. Or maybe just a fantasy, but it's not. The truth is you were next to me, kissing me, kissing me.
Wake up, I must have been having a dream. Wake up, things are not as they seem. I kissed you in London, I kissed you in...
Very cool. So, Roland, how come you weren't singing this one?
Are you muted, Roland?
Yeah, I was singing that.
That was you singing the whole thing?
Yeah.
You sounded very, very different in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote this song about 20 years ago.
Okay, that's why it has a totally different feel from what you're doing nowadays.
No, but I re-recorded it about a couple months ago. I just brought it back to life from the graveyard. So
it has a Euro, sort of a London Euro sound to it.
Yeah, kind of like a dance.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for, actually. So
yeah,
there was a licensing that were kind of looking for that, so I kind of did that feel and I just sent it in.
Cool. Well, hopefully it gets played. Congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like, again, you've got more than one chorus almost. Like wake up, that part is almost like a chorus. And then I Kissed You in London, of course, that's a chorus. So I don't know. I have to listen to it again, I guess. But it seemed like you had a lot of parts in there that, and it wasn't more like a pre-chorus. It was almost like two separate choruses. I don't know. Jimmy, what do you think?
Well, when you're talking about dance music, especially, it's all about that beat and that groove that's going on. Literally, one time I had a guy record the phone book over a groove. and I played that because I was a DJ at the same time, and nobody noticed.
Yeah,
that bad. So, with that in mind, it really doesn't matter. Then also the story that I had talked about earlier, with Stacey Q. The record label didn't even realize that it was all songs they had heard before with, just "I Love You" over the top of it. It was really stupid. Yeah. So, it really is irrelevant, how the song is structured, as long as it doesn't lose the groove. And, it has enough of a storyline, I Kissed You in all these other places and stuff. And that's all that people are really going to be paying attention to, because they're going to be on the dance floor and they're going to be kissing each other. So, it's all good.
Oh, yeah. You're right the first time.
I had a note to add, if you wouldn't mind, that it seemed like in the first little section, it was highly processed, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes into, I guess, what is the chorus? Wake up.
Mm-hmm. That's a pre-chorus.
Okay, when you got to the pre-chorus, it sounded like, because it was no longer processed at the same way the other section was, it sounded less important. I almost thought that maybe the beginning should be not as processed and maybe the chorus be processed.
Well, the thing is, in the chorus, there's just a lot. It's hard to process because first of all, you got a whole chorus going on.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was just one vocal.
Well, the pre-chorus, I mean.
Yeah. Well,
the pre-chorus.
Yeah. No, I don't want to make it too crazy because it led right into the chorus a bit. I know what you're saying.
Is this a Iggy Pop kind of a sound? I wasn't a.
No, it's not even close. It's
okay.
More like a Thompson Twins. So.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was really catchy. I really liked it a lot.
Thank you.
It's just when you got up to Wake Up, I almost felt like it didn't have as much power as the rest of the beginning. Okay.
Music is just like art. You look at it and you don't know whether you're going to like it or not.
Yeah. Then also with dance music knowledge, one of the things, again, I was talking about the groove, through a sound system like you would be going through a computer, and also the fact that it's MP3s, you're not going to hear the dynamics of the bottom end quite as much. And that's the whole thing. When I was DJing, it was all about the bottom end, and it was kind of stupid. There's one gig that I did where we were doing a club gig, and the bar had some kind of specialty drink that was carbonated, It was like a carbonated martini almost. It's kind of funny. Anyway, one of the people that was at that party wound up stepping in front of the L34s. L34s are bass bins. They're about not quite 5 feet tall, and they handle frequencies way down below what you can hear. And we were cranking a little over 2,000 watts into each speaker. So they were extremely loud, and it's all bottom end. So when this girl walked in front of the speakers, the energy from those speakers was so high, it actually exploded the drink in her hand.
Wow.
But that's the way that it is with a dance club. Nobody even realized how loud that was, and nobody really cared. But, when she went in front of that speaker, it blew up her drink, and we were laughing. Damn, we're loud. But,
also nowadays, when you send like something into one of these like licensing labels, if you don't have processing on there or whatever, they're going to tell you, man, hey, this sounds too dated, or this sounds this, that. So I just kind of write to what they're looking for in that song. It's crazy because the criticism and stuff is so high level with these places that they just nitpick at every little thing. So I try to follow their little rules that they send. This is what we need. Every song is a different thing. So it's crazy. It's to a point where maybe I just don't want that part of it anymore.
And placement is tough. One of the things that I've found is that people don't pay attention. Like people will submit for a Marvel movie thing, right? And I've been on some of these screening sessions, and the guys who are screening them are laughing. They're going, I'll bet you this guy's never even seen a Marvel movie, because in fact, the stuff that they submitted sounds nothing like anything that's in a Marvel movie.
Right.
And it's true. If you, there's another one where, we were talking with another music supervisor, and she was saying that, if you don't watch that show, like Breaking Bad, can you tell me what music is on Breaking Bad? And nobody could. So that's because you're not watching that show. If you're going to be submitting to that show or submitting to a pitch that's supposed to sound like Breaking Bad, you damn well better be watching Breaking Bad, and not just one episode, but, almost a whole season skipping through it, so you know what that music is about. So it is kind of important. All right. Good job, man. I wish I could get to doing your stuff there, Roll. We'll get to it.
Okay. So next up, we've got Lucius, and let's see if I can get this. I've never done this before. He sent in a link from Touch My Heart Again from Reverb Nation. And let's see if I can get this to work. This one here. Okay. Hopefully we can actually hear it.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
What's going on with you? Is something wrong with me? There can be a future if you see it with me. So many verses will refrain. Touch my heart again. Thinking of you makes worries fade. Not living in a masquerade. Light will shine in my direction. There will be no rejection. Only one way to ease the strain. Touch my heart again. Wonder ways romance turns. For some it always burns. Love can tear away the soul. Us together there will always control. Willing to retrace now and then. Touch my heart again. When reconfusion shows its face, no one will ever take your place. No time to wait for that action. You are my only attraction. Like a turn to love, boarding that train. Touch my heart again. go. For you, I always show. In the universe, in the stratosphere, I'll be near. With you, there's no pain. Journey to my heart again.
All right. Very cool as usual. Yeah, there's no lyric sheet, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly where we were at. What did it go into like a chorus with a whole different thing, or was it all kind of the same? You still muted?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, the lyrics there, you had to push the little button and the lyrics do pop up on it.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
No, but see that's why we ask people to submit things very specifically, so we don't have to go through all that.
Oh, sorry about that. I'll work try to get it straight next time.
All right.
Yeah. So like I said, it's sort of straight, it's just like it's a few choruses, pretty much the straight run up to the end. So the song's called Touch My Heart Again.
Okay.
So the lyrics are there, so.
All right, yeah. I mean, the lyrics are fine. I think you can. One of the things that I notice you do a lot of is you maintain iambic pentameter. The cadence of your lyrics remains the same all the time. Maybe changing that up just a little bit would help. And of course, the arrangements that you've got, kind of get an idea of where you're at. A little bit of help on that would help too. But yeah, otherwise it's cool. You like your stuff there. Just keep working at it. Anybody else have anything to say about that, or? Nope.
No. Jimmy, we have one fellow, Scott Detweiler. He didn't seem to show up.
Scott Detweiler, he was here a minute ago. Yeah.
Oh, was he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was here early.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should just go. Should we play his?
Yeah, go ahead and play his stuff. He's a friend of mine, and I think he was here. Okay. I think he's actually another, not East Coaster, but Midwestern.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that. So, all right. So this is called Monkey Hill. Let me do a share here.
All right. Well, you can definitely hear that that's live stuff going on there. I like that. The only thing about it is because it's live, I think the intro was a little bit too long. I thought it was an instrumental at first. I don't know if any of you other guys feel that too. I kind of felt that.
Yeah, long intros. Well, when you're playing it for somebody in the industry, you don't want to have long intros. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. For not only for the industry, but even when you're submitting it for live airplay and stuff too, because after 30 seconds, everybody thinks it's an instrumental if you don't go right to the lyric. So that's something to think about there.
I have a story about that. One of the very first times, I think it was the very first time I ever played the song for somebody in the industry. I was living in the Bay Area, and the guy listening was the guy who would put together Elton John and Bernie Taupin. Literally, it was the guy. And this song I had a fairly long introduction. It wasn't that long, but boy, after like 4 bars, it was off. He said, "Nah, introduction's too long." And I'm thinking, Jesus, talk about missing an opportunity. And so, yeah, short introductions. If you're going to be submitting it to somebody to listen to, yeah, got to do that.
Yeah. Painful
lesson.
Oh yeah, no. Back in the days when there was those critiques over at with LA Songwriter Showcase, I remember they had very strict criteria too. And one time, one of my friends did not cue his cassette. Back then everything was on cassette, and you got to kick your pencil and wind it up past the leader so that it doesn't sit there going through the leader, before it starts the song. And he didn't do that. So we put the tape in and it's dead silence. And before it even got to the song, it came back out of the machine, said, "Sorry, we told you, take it past the leader." So, oh well, he never even got heard anywhere. So Scott, yeah, good stuff. Like it a lot. That's the kind of thing that definitely would get you, for some live shows and stuff like that, for airplay. Maybe it might be a little bit tighter, but otherwise it sounds good. Anybody else have anything else to say about that, or?
Sounds like it'd be a good, alter ego to Steely Dan thing. Steely Dan vibe to it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great if he could get that whole band together and do like a thing at Kulak's, because then you can see what it really looks like and the energy would be there. All right, what else we got?
There was one by Papa Satch that I wasn't quite sure if he wanted to submit it or not, but he sent it in. So, do you want to play that, or?
Well, I don't know. Papa Satch never even showed up here, though, huh?
Right. Yeah, he wasn't here tonight. So.
Yeah, we don't know who Papa Satch is. So.
Okay. Well, he was on one of our other things, I think, sessions. I can't remember which ones, but I don't know. You want to? Should we go ahead?
How many more we got?
Just that. Just mine. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and put it out there then.
Okay. Good. I don't have a lyric sheet for this.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, please tell me.
It's called.
Okay, you didn't switch into the mode yet, so we're just hearing like bleed.
Oh yeah. Whoops. Forgot. That's right. You guys can't hear it, can you? Okay, here we go. It's called "Everything Will Be Okay."
Oh, please tell me when I can get to see you again. It'll be okay. Everything will be okay. Please come close this way so I can hear you say today. It'll be okay. Everything will be okay.
wish the pain far away. When things don't go my way and nothing seems okay, everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. You hold close to your phone, but you're really alone. Everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. In the dark, as the quiet roars in my ears, as long as we hide, there is nothing we have to fear. Everything will be okay. Everything will be okay.
Yep. It's good.
Yeah.
Another song I could sing to by the end, by the middle of the song.
Yes, absolutely. It's a good sing-along kind of a thing, and one of the anthemic kind of deals, and very retro sounding too, so it sounds familiar right off the bat. So that's good.
I was trying to place who it sounds like, retro-wise, what group. I couldn't, almost like a Hollywood or something like that.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs that have that sort of a vibe. Not quite surf, but not quite something else. It's good. And it's a standard 1-4-5 to start with too. So
yeah,
it works very well for that. So
gotcha.
Yeah, there's this kind of thing where for placement it's tough because it does have that kind of a feel, and it has to be very specific request for something that has that sort of a retro sound with a real heavy bottom end like that, real heavy drums anyway. But again, it's the kind of thing that with a good video, it would kind of clue somebody in where it would fit. So,
right.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So last one is Steve's. Go ahead, man.
My own. Yeah. And let's see, I didn't skip anybody, did I? By accident? No. Angela was the only one who didn't want us to play because of legal reasons, I guess. Okay. This is my song, Want to Be Loved.
Oh, Nancy did Nancy submit anything? No?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Do it because we want to be loved. We do what we do. We do it because we want to be loved. Do it because we want to be loved. We do what we do. We do it because we want to be loved. Looking down at your phone. Are you gonna make that call? 'Cause she hit you like a bolt of lightning. Are you gonna risk that fall? Do it because we want to be loved. We do what we do. We do it because we want to be loved. Do it because we want to be loved. We do what we do. We do it because we want to be loved. Are you gonna get on that stage? Are you gonna say that line? 'Cause that applause was the bolt of lightning that caused your soul to shine. Do it because we want to be loved. We do what we do. We do it because we want to be loved. We do it because we want to be loved. We do what we do. We do it because we want to be loved. Stepping out
All right. Interesting thing. Since not only you're still here, did you notice cadence was the same as your song?
You use the same drum track? Is that
No,
why?
it wasn't the drum. It was a real drummer there. But you can hear the cadence was the same. And there were some spots where it did have that slightly militaristic feel, but it changed up in different places. So it wasn't that same thing all the way through. So, later on, when you can go to the YouTube thing and listen to this one and then listen to yours and realize, this is how the comparison is. And if you want to retrack it or something, with different drums, that's a possibility. Steve, you've submitted this one many times before for different things, and it's good.
I like this song.
I love this song.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The other one too. Is it new? Is the song we heard before new?
Oh, which one? I'm sorry. Of mine, you mean, or somebody else?
Yours.
The one that was right before this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was yours also, Stephen. That was somebody else's,
Papa, Papa Satch. The one that sounded kind of retro a little bit.
Yeah, Papa Satch.
That was Papa Satch. Yeah. No, this one was mine. I only played one tonight.
Yeah, Papa Satch is the video.
Pardon?
Are you going to put a video to this Do It for Love?
Oh, that's a good question. Put it this way. I can't afford a video unless it's just me playing, but I mean, I think I have a video of me playing this, but that's not like a video.
No. Remember what we were talking about before? There's film students out there that
why
need.
Aren't you going to Kulak's?
I do need to go to Kulak's. You're right. I do.
Yeah,
I mean, you could even go on open mic and have the band played with you, right, Jimmy?
Kulak's
only
open right
once
now.
a month now. Yeah.
Is it open now? Kulak's.
Yeah. Kulak's has been doing good. It's open and it's been doing real well. And then, come to think of it, March 14th, is it? That's our 2 for night. And I had 2 people already back out, so I got spots open.
Oh, wow.
$30, 2 songs. $30, 2 songs, man.
Which night? What's the date?
That's the 14th.
14th.
So if you want to take those spots or one of those spots, email twofer at TWOFER, twofer at kulakswoodshed.com, and we'll hook you up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for all of you guys and anybody that's watching online.
To FOR? FUR?
TWOFER, twofer.
FER. Okay.
Yeah. TWOFER, twofer at kulakswoodshed.com. And either myself or one of our twofer staff will pick that up and we'll make it happen.
Put that in the chat. Is that right, Jimmy?
Let's see. Chat's not working. Oh, there it goes. Okay. And yep, that's it.
Okay.
So that'll be good. I guess that's it. So
it's a long
thought
evening.
for a self-governing group, this worked very well tonight. I got a lot of good information.
Yeah, me too.
Well, good. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that are available to each one of us. Like, Steve, you were saying we can't afford a video. That's not quite true. If we were already talking about film students, man. There's hundreds and hundreds of film students out there. And then there's also animation geeks out there. You go to like Comic-Con or Anime Expo, and there are kids that are making their own videos and animated things just with generic software. They're doing quite well. So having one of those kids do something like that for you, so that they can have exposure, doing the video, and then your music gets the exposure with that video.
Right.
It's a win-win for everybody, and that's what it's all about. So those are the kinds of things that are available to all of us, and it's not that hard to find. As I was mentioning before too, AFI is just up the street, American Film Institute. They're in Los Feliz, and they have events just like we do, except it's all filmmakers. And as I've said before, one time I went there and I was the only musician out of like 80 filmmakers, man. It was crazy. And I was a rock star for a minute, because everybody needs music, and I was the only one that could supply it. So they were thrilled. It was overwhelming. So you never know. There's all kinds of opportunities out there. And then also now, with things going on in the virtual world, podcasts and webisodes and stuff. I mean, there's so many YouTube channels out there, and every YouTube channel wants to have something going on. And it's not hard to put together something. If you're not the one that's putting the content together, you could still put together the theme song. You go and watch all of these YouTube channels. All of them have a theme of some kind. Some of them are using generic music. Some of them have original music. The ones that have original music, you remember that. And just like with TV shows, when you hear that little jingle, you know what that YouTube channel is. So yeah, those are the kinds of things that are out there. Those are opportunities that are available for all of us. And we just got to go and snag them or use them, my guitar thing, that's been amazing, man, because I didn't realize the reach of my guitar stories. Every Saturday I put up a guitar story on my Facebook page. And, I was thinking, yeah, some people are liking it, but people that I don't even know are starting to watch that thing. Mm-hmm. And it's exciting to see. When I posted the picture of my granddaughter that was born this afternoon, man.
Oh, I missed that. Congratulations.
Yeah, well, thank you. I literally just posted before I came on for this thing.
Wow.
And I think it's already got well over 50 hits just on that within a couple hours. That means people are watching my page.
With the child, the algorithms.
Yeah, it's the algorithm.
When I post my grandson, I get 150 comments. It's so crazy.
Yep.
God, I should post my triplet grandchildren. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You should, man. We all want to see that.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, we'd all love that. And then of course, the cats and dogs too. So yeah, it's all there.
I have a favor to ask you guys.
Yeah.
There's a service called Tag Team Analysis. They're great. They work with a lot of music libraries up in the Bay Area, and you can send them $5 and they'll give you metadata on your song. Okay. They have a team of people that listen. And it's worth it because the beats per minute, the genre, the mood, the description, all these words you'd never come up with.
Put that in the chat.
I was really freaked out because when I'd used them for my first batch, and I'm going to post this in the chat, my first batch of songs I did it with, they came up with sound-alikes of Carly Simon, Joni Mitchell, Carole King, which of course I was very flattered. But then this next batch with the J&J songs, Jimmy, they're pegging us with these hardcore soprano folk singers that I don't even know. And I'm just wondering if you guys know Muriel Anderson, Susan McCohen. I know Judy Collins and Joan Baez, but I don't think I sound anything like Joan Baez. So I'm kind of curious what you guys think about what they picked out for my sound-alike. And
overall production sounds very Joan Baez. It's got that kind of.
See,
maybe they're thinking era as opposed to actual sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, maybe they're just thinking of the sort of total effect.
I mean, they categorize every song as folk.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well,
because there isn't a category for like folk pop or sunshine pop. They don't have a category.
No, because they're going
Americana, by. We're not Americana either. We're not bluegrass. Right. We're not folk music.
Well, they're going by generics, and that's one of the things. That's one of the problems with placement is that when you're talking a library, you're looking at everything that sounds like you. And even if it's not in the same genre, there's certain elements that are close enough, so they just drop you in there. What's weird to me is that Muriel Anderson is known more as a guitarist. She doesn't have a lot of vocal stuff out there, so I don't know how that kind of.
I heard some of her stuff on Spotify, and again, she's just like really high soprano folk.
It may be a different Muriel Anderson then, because
it was from the '60s.
Could you put that website on the chat?
Yeah, Tag Team Analysis. It's a really wonderful service.
Tag Team. I don't see it on here.
I'll do it.
All right.
I got it right here.
Yeah, because one of the, I'll let you type that in first. But one of the things that I did recently that was an aha moment. I don't know how many of all of you are on Spotify, but I've got a bunch of songs on Spotify, like 30 of them. And so I just started playing my own songs. And, after a while, they weave in other songs. And of course, they're going to weave in songs that they think you sound like. And much to my surprise, because I always have a really tough time with this, like, who do I sound like, when you're supposed to submit songs? And so they came up with Cat Stevens and REM and James Blunt, which was, interesting to me. I never would have picked those people out, but, they started weaving those songs into my stuff. And so that's an interesting way to figure out who you sound like as well, if you have anything on Spotify. So that was like I say, quite an aha moment on that one.
That's a good idea. I should try that.
Yeah.
So here's a funny group. John's song Medusa.
Right.
Medusa. So here is the sound alikes on that song. I don't know any of these guys.
Couple of them are musical comedy.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's almost like every decade you've got people who they just listen differently to the people in that decade.
Right.
Decade or two. And like you said, there's people out there we don't even know. I never heard of them before. And yet you talk to somebody from a different generation, they go, oh yeah,
Right.
we grew up with that music. That was 80s music or whatever. So it's any feedback like that you can get, that's really valuable. I thank you for the link.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yep. Okay. Well, I got to get going here, but
how do we save the chat?
The bottom, there are 3 dots next to the smiley face.
Yeah.
Click on the 3 dots and it'll say at the top, save chat.
And it's good to show in folders so you know where it's.
Right. And they what they do is in your documents, they put a Zoom folder and you'll have the chat there. And so the thing in the title is usually the title that I use on the Zoom call, which was something like, SongNet with Ben McLane or something. So it refers you back to that. And it's very useful. And the other thing too is you can save it 1,000,000 times, but it will only give you still one file, which is good. Because, when you're constantly saving it over and over again, you don't want, 30 files with the same name or something. So they figured that one out very well.
okay. Well, don't forget to turn off the YouTube feed.